Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. What do we do when we realize that the guys, supposedly our leaders, the guys in charge of us, are dumb? We may say that if they're over there because they didn't break any rules, any laws, and they're legitimate, then I will say there's a problem with the selection process. If you allow dumb people to be in charge of all of us. And I'm talking about democracy. I have here two leaders. They are leaders. They are leaders of the world. France, it's not Albania or Romania. Neither is Italy. These countries are important countries, although correct? Correct. So we have the Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, and we have Mr. Emmanuel Macron. All right, so these guys come, they meet Zelenskyy, they do this to Zelenskyy and his people, whomever they are, and then they come and tell us and tell Putin that he must come out and do something idiotic. Why am I saying these guys are dumb? I will have two articles here ready for you in a minute. It's because I think we owe the Greeks, the ancient Greeks, the gratitude, the respect for telling us that the lightning, when it rains, is not Zeus's thunderbolt. Some of us passed that time. That was actually past at least 2,400 years ago. Some people still believe in the burning bush and things like this. No problem. But those people are in charge of us. Because if we go by that, then it's a regression from reality into believing. We can't allow these guys in charge of us, Macron and Meloni, turn us into baboons. That's why we live in Europe and in Western world in the Judeo-Christian culture, not in the Greco-Roman civilization. That's why. The burning bush and the thunderbolt is still there. It must be Zeus and Yahweh. And I got two more topics. The first one, the third one actually, if I take the first one, the third one, the second one, Jesus Christ, is another logical assessment of life, of a situation. It says, and I'm just going to read the title, losers do not get to dictate the terms. I mean, this is normal for us. Now, in the upside-down world of those guys, like Meloni and Macron, no, they do. They dictate, they get to dictate the peace terms to Russia. However you twist it and turn it, Russia's victory is the fact that Russia did not collapse. That's its victory. Clear. Now, and the last one, now really the last one, the last topic, we have Miss von der Leyen. She's gonna go. Not fishing, but she's going to be removed, so we're gonna get another shed with a different face. Someone else is gonna be dropped on the European Commission for an approval vote. That's how they get elected. Miss von der Leyen was a defense minister of Germany. I suspect that Mr. Pistorius, who is the current defense minister of Germany, who's going to lose his job when these guys probably show up, they call it the conservatives, they're not the conservatives, they are the globalists. When those guys are going to switch hats a little bit, but they're going to be the same people, they're going to probably vote for Mr. Pistorius or something like that. I mean, after all, they have Kaja Kallas as their foreign minister. Kaja Kallas is an infantile. She is the main diplomat of 450 million people about the European Union. 450 million people from a country called Estonia, when she was the prime minister, and she had 1.2 million people. Jump from it's like a promotion. You have under your jurisdiction 3 people, and all of a sudden you become, I don't know, in front of 50 million. That's a big jump, don't you think? All right, let's start with the first one. What did what did these guys say, which is Meloni and Macron? And the context, they have an enlightenment, they have a, I don't know, a Satori, they broke the Satori, they have a, you know, oh my God, samsara is broken right there. Ukrainska pravda. Macron, after meeting Zelenskyy, now it's up to Putin to prove he wants peace. Why did I start the whole video with the thing about the ancient Greeks versus with the burning bush and the thunderbolt or the lightning? Why? Because tell me what the connection is to say this after you meet this guy. So now it's up to Putin. Why is it up to Putin to prove he wants peace and not Zelenskyy? That's the first question. And they will give you the burning bush because Zelenskyy is good and Putin is bad. Well, ancient Greeks did not use logic like that. And they looked at the life like we are supposed to look, with a Greco-Roman civilization. Not good and evil, and there's nothing in between. That's the whole point here. So this guy meets Zelenskyy, and after the meeting, he comes with enlightenment. He reaches the state of Buddha. Buddha means enlightenment. That's what it is. The first Buddha was Siddhartha Gautama. I think born in 8th of April 622 or something like this. He came out and said, all right, I met this guy right here. I meditated for 40 days, like Jesus, mind you, under that palm tree, and then the devil came into, I said, fuck you, man, I'm just going to do it on my own. I'm not going to go to women, all right? So and then he reached enlightenment. Oops, and the chakras all opened up. That's exactly what happened to Macron after he met Zelenskyy. He said, now it's up to Putin. Now after what? What exactly? The conversation you had with this guy who's part of your side? This is not Europe. This is not our civilization. This is the burning bush shit. All right. Why should it be to Putin? Why not the other guys? Oh, because these guys are just defending? Yeah, that's how the story goes. We dropped our civilization. That's why we're doing just fine. And then we have this Meloni, who I gotta tell you, I never thought she's smart. I never thought. I think Macron is smart. I don't think Meloni is smart whatsoever. And Meloni, blah, 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 she is also blowing her cover. She's supposed to be a conservative. She's not far right. No, remember, she was considered to be a fascist. Blah, blah, blah. They like Mussolini, all that. By the way, Mussolini had a PhD. So the guys with PhDs, Goebbels had a PhD. All the bad people had PhD. Therefore, with the new logic, people with PhD should never be allowed to be in charge of anybody. Oh, wait a second. Whoa. I know another group that should not be ever allowed to lead. The guys with physical deformity, which is Stalin. Remember, Stalin had a deformity to his right hand. He couldn't extend it. And then we find out that supposedly Hitler was missing a ball. Not the ping pong ball, but a ball. Another. Oh my God. So these people should not be, because look there. I mean, by that kind of logic that these guys use to hit us, I got two groups for you that is very politically incorrect, and I disagree with that. I'm just saying how these guys think. These guys, let me show you Meloni. New Voice of Ukraine. Zelenskyy, Meloni, both of them demand Moscow prove peace intent. This is their thing. You gotta do what we tell you to do, but we're losing. Putin is saying this: we're gonna keep fighting for our goals, which are at least 4. These guys say, no, that you don't have any goals. You have no reason. You just unprovoked. You attacked Ukraine unprovoked. The Russians say, remember, in any quarrel, in any fight, argument, there's at least 2 sides. You have to ask them and see what they say, and then see if they're legitimate. Well, right. Now, if you bring your weapons on my porch, I will fuck you up. It's legitimate for me to go and chase you in your house, beat you up, so you don't do it again. Well, that's Russia. Right, that's my little interpretation of what's going on over there towards NATO. So anyway, Moscow must prove. Says who? You're the losing side. Back the fuck off. So Russia says, we're going to keep fighting, and at the same time, we're going to negotiate. These guys say, no, you stop. we rearm, we negotiate, we break the negotiations, and voila, we're armed with NATO troops legally in Ukraine. I mean, again, this is not Greco-Roman logic. This is the burning bush thing, and not George W. Bush. And that gets me to the next topic from Sputnik. And this is fantastic, fantastic title. Loser does not get to dictate the terms. U.S. Army vet on Ukraine's delusional peace talks terms. That's fantastic. It's exactly how it is. Loser does not get to dictate, but somehow we are negotiating. You're negotiating a peace because you're losing. United States of America is not the mediator. As I will say this over and over again, United States of America is part of the losing side that is allowed by the Russians to play the mediator. The Russians don't tell them, you haven't been to the moon, here is the evidence, are you crazy? They let them do it, they let them say it for how many years? They don't say, they don't break the news, because the other guys can break the news on Gagarin and all that. You don't know what I'm talking about? All right. I know. You have to, if you know, very good. That's ABC. 1, 2, 3 is not something genius, what I said here. So again, these guys let the Americans, maybe the Americans will bring something good, and let them be. But when the Americans are going to be like, we are the guys who are in charge, and they overstep their allowed mediator position, thinking that they are in charge of the mediations, and they can tell the Russians, stop, when you actually are in the losing side. The same with the Italians and the French. They were involved in this. The Italians a little bit less than the French, but the French were full force in there. They even wanted troops. And you're telling me that now is Putin has to demonstrate. He has been. He's discussing with the Russians, yeah, with those two. Discussing with the Americans. Discuss is open. He has been open to discuss negotiations since the beginning of this. He came to NATO. He talked to these guys. Let's discuss before anything else happened. And what Macron did, I'm not going to talk to you. Remember when Zelenskyy told him, why are you talking to Putin every day? Macron stopped talking for a year and a half. The West stopped talking. Not Russia. Russia was always open to talk. The Ukrainians have in their law that they could not talk to the Russians. It's illegal to negotiate. So what is this? Burning bush. This is not Greco-Roman civilization. And that gets me with the von der Leyen, who is going to be replaced, as I said a few days ago. She's on the way out. Why? The same as all Western leaders, who they play a role, they have a list, check mark what they accomplished, and when they're down, the population got their number, and then these guys are removed and they bring the same shit with a different face. Like, for instance, what's his name? Justin Trudeau. That's exactly what happened in Justin Trudeau. People got his number, got sick of it, tired, so now it's, you just revolving door. Pop, goes in, goes out, the same guy, just to put a kabuki face, a different mask. That is kabuki for you. I'm just kidding. I love kabuki. It's just, and it's all made by male actors. They play the entire thing. Very, very misogynistic Japanese. Ooh, don't you laugh? All right. So what's going on here? Macron is gonna go. He's gonna bring another baboon since they banned Marine Le Pen. And not only, they're going to bring a right one. What do you think? When you have the right genes and the right things, you're going to be allowed to be in charge. So, let me show you. She's going to be out. Not because they're going to bring someone better and they, oh my God, you are bad. No, they're going to bring someone else who's going to take the torch from her little claw. And from that, he's going to go for another year, 2, 3, 4, 5, until the public figures out. And they have a list. They don't have to come with a real list. They know what they have to do. They go to the Wailing Wall first, they put that over there, and then they know what to do. All right. Fish rots from its head. Senior EU officials call for Ursula's resignation. Why now? They were all for everything she did. They were with her 100%, except 2 countries. 2, maybe 3. 2 countries for sure. I think it was Ireland, who was very bad about, all right? Then it was Ireland. Nobody mentions Ireland, the Republic of Ireland. Nobody. But those guys are going to do wonders. Unfortunately, they accepted a lot of people like me over there, and that's not good for them. They should keep it ginger. So what's going on over here? They have the Irish, you have the, what's his name? The guy who would not arrest Netanyahu. Mr. Orban of Hungary, and then you got Mr. Fico, Prime Minister of Slovakia. These three are the only ones who said something. The rest, niet. Что казалось? Nimika, nothing. Kanch. So what's going on over here? She's going to be replaced. All of a sudden, they realize she's bad. No, she failed everything. Now she's, how should I put it, man? I don't want to put it in a sexual way. But it's something that you used. You put it on, you use it, you take it off, you put another one. But it's the same thing, but a different, All right, here it is, my friends. She's going to go, and I guarantee you something of the same class will come. Now, we have a problem, because this is what I started with. How come these people, are in charge of us? How can Macron or Meloni come in front of us and tell us, and the media don't call that out, tell us that now it's up to that guy to prove his intent. Now, after they spoke with Zelenskyy, what is the logic? What's the connection? Do you forget the chronology of events? Yes, they are selective in that. Selective truth. The system, the method by which these guys are elected, selected, appointed is dirty. It's made by those guys with the delusion that we have control. That's genius. Why? You keep people dumb by telling them they have a college degree. Why? Because you lower the standards. Hey, I'm an educated person. Open your fucking mouth and see how educated you are. And don't parrot me. The foundation of intelligence is memory. That's it. That's it. I don't like parrots. Even the parrots can parrot, okay? So I don't like that. I give you the information. That's why the IQ tests are not tests of parroting, but how you solve problems. That means you have this information, and out of that you come with a conclusion based on the right way of. It's like in mathematics, arithmetics. It's a certain order in which you say 1 plus 3 multiplied by 25 parentheses. If a certain order, if you don't follow the right order, the answer is going to be wrong. The same in the brain. The same with the brain. If you don't follow the right steps, the right methods of gathering information and putting it together like a formula in which 1 plus 3 parentheses 2 multiplied by 5 at square root, there's a certain order by which you resolve that. You don't start with this and then, because you're not going to reach to a right answer. The same in thinking. If you don't put the information right in a chronology and you don't pick the relevant information and objectively looking at it, then you're not going to reach the right conclusion. That's it. And we are at that point with these people and those people who just play with their mass media. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.